Hi guys. So we are going to talk today more about the heart, soul, and mind, as in the verse where Jesus says, "This is the greatest commandment, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind." If you watch my last video, you will understand why I'm about to talk about emotions as if we are training a dog. Many of us try to chain up unhealthy emotions and reactions instead of training in new ones. And that's a recipe on how to get an angry, depressed, and anxious heart. I'm going to talk about a better way. I tended to see my intellect and my thoughts as sort of an equal, helpful partner. And I tended to see my feelings as this yippy dog who wouldn't leave me alone, who was mostly getting in the way and keeping me from doing anything productive. What I know now is that when I try to chain my emotions up, it actually gives them more power over me because they are affecting me unconsciously and I am reacting in ways that I don't want. Our emotions really are a symptom that something in our hearts need to heal. And until we dig into what that is, they're just going to become a bigger and bigger problem. And usually I find when I overreact to something, I can look back and find a root hurt that happened sometime in the past that has made me sensitive in that area. And different people are going to have those things pop up to different degrees. Some have a ton of trauma, and that is going to be harder to dig up. It's going to cause more overreactions on a day-to-day basis, and it's going to be more painful to work at healing those things. So I had a friend, she said, "I'm kind of confused about what you mean by training versus chaining. It seems like the same thing." And I know why she feels that way because I did for years. I thought that I had my emotions under control because they were boxed up and I could ignore them. And they didn't come out in those overreactionary ways very often. And so I thought, that's me having a handle on my emotions. But what really having a handle on our emotions is not chaining the dog up in the backyard and ignoring it and trying to pretend it doesn't exist. We can put the dog on a leash and bring it out into the world with us. And instead of making life more difficult and annoying for the people around us and for us ourselves, the dog brings joy, and it is an extension of us that we have taught how to behave in the world. And that is the difference between training and chaining it. So if we chain our emotions, what happens? Say we start chaining them when they're puppies and they grow. Puppies grow. So do emotions. And those emotions, they keep piling on. If we're not dealing with that emotional burden, that dog is getting bigger and bigger. So what might have been a puppy nipping at your heels at one point becomes a dog that can get off its chain and grab you by the throat, and it's going to cause problems and it's going to hurt other people. So some of us are pretty good at chaining our emotions and at least leaving them at home. But what happens is you still got to go home. You live there. And those emotions are going to come out to the people who are closest to you. At some point, the dog's going to get off the chain. And whenever it does that, if it's not trained, it is going to hurt people. And it's going to do things that you don't want it to. So unless we are consistently letting the dog off the chain to live with us in the real world, our emotions are going to be erratic. They're going to misbehave. But if we are working with our emotions and telling it what and how to behave, that is us becoming that whole person that the Bible is talking about when it says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind. Emotions are very animalistic in that they respond, they react to things sort of instinctually, and that's why we have to train them. We have to teach them the truth. There are a few ways that I have used to train my emotions. They're not the only ways in the world. We're going to talk about those in another video, so be looking for that one. Thanks for watching. If you want to check out any of my books, you can go to cewhitebooks.com. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe for more.